Welcome to Mitten Music.
Season 4, Raw, Live, and Authentic. Episode 21 with Michael Balcom, co-founder of the Oddfellow Concert Lounge and Be Well My Friends nonprofit in Wyandotte, Michigan.
All right, well, so tonight we've got Michael Balcom, the co-founder of the Oddfellow Concert Lounge in Wyandotte, Michigan. Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Ryan.
For
This is awesome.
Yeah,
super excited about this.
Wyandotte. That's a city that I don't know much about at all.
Wyandotte is a gem. It is the
Is
heartbeat of Downriver. It is really cool. It's a great little. All of Downriver really is great, but Wyandotte has kind of the downtown area. It's kind of my wife says it's like Plymouth but less bougie. Yeah, but we've got a killer nightlife on the weekend. A lot of young people, mixed, people that are, our age, a lot of families, a lot of older people, just a huge variety, but they're really doing a lot. We have like a social district. So, you can buy a beer or whatever, or a cocktail at one of the bars and go walking down the street and go hit up another bar. And it's pretty awesome. And we've got Sunday socials. They were just featured on Channel 2 News, I think. So on Sundays out in the park where the old movie theater used to be is just a grassy park area now. And they have music featured out there. And then we've got the main concert venue, which is District 142. They host a lot of national acts that come through there. So yeah, we just it's picking up a lot. Since I moved, I've been here now. It'll be 20 years next year.
Okay.
In 2006, I moved to Wyandotte. So yeah,
cool.
And since when I moved here, there was a handful of bars, but only one was really downtown, and now it's just booming. So,
all right. And your lounge sits in that mix, right? And
yeah, so we're kind of on the outskirts. So the building that we're in, the room that I'm in right now, this is the Downriver Council for the Arts. I am in the art gallery portion of it downstairs, which is on the main hall. Upstairs is the concert lounge area / karate dojo sometimes. Theater group, practice space. It's used for just everything. And then downstairs they have art classes for adults and kids. But it's the Downriver Council for the Arts is for all of Downriver. It just happens to be housed in Wyandotte. They were in Southgate, and then they moved. I don't know how long, maybe 15 years ago. They've been here for a little bit. But the building itself was originally built by the Odd Fellows, that fraternal organization. And they were here. They built the first floor and the basement. And then I think in the 30s, they built the hall upstairs. And then eventually they sold the building to the Masons. So it was a Mason hall for a little bit.
Cool.
And yeah,
there's history there.
Yeah. And then the Masons left, and I think they sold it to the city. And then the city used it for the city hall. They've used it. I heard it was a school at one time.
Wow.
For Wyandotte. And it's just been used there's just a ton of history here. The walls are very thin. And so a lot of people will say this place is haunted. I personally don't think so. But you can, if somebody gets out of their car outside and you're here at night, you can hear it as if they're right next to you. Yeah. And, but yeah, they've got this great space. Have you ever been to St. Andrew's Hall?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. The concert lounge is like a mini St. Andrew's Hall. It is.
That's cool.
Really small, intimate like that. It is kind of falling apart because it is old. So they're working slowly. The city's working because the city still owns the building. They lease it to the Downriver Council for the Arts. So they're working to have it kind of rehab it slowly. So we had a plaster company come out and kind of look at the decorative plaster that's up there because it's in dire need of some repairs. But yeah, all in all, it is a very grassroots feel to it. I think everybody that comes in to see a show there, they love it because it isn't pristine. It's not this, it's beautiful, but it's beautiful in its own way. And that there's history there, and
it's been around for a while.
And it's historical.
Yep.
So, it's an amazing space. we got really lucky. We were in the right place at the right time where just the stars aligned, and it was prime and ready for us to come in and put on the concert lounge. And that's where the name, the Oddfellow Concert Lounge, that's where it was, to pay homage to the original builders of the building. So, and coincidentally, because our mission is to raise money, and that was essentially what the Oddfellows do. They raise money and charities for so we're kind of essentially doing the same thing. We're just not technically Oddfellows, but we still we pay homage to the work they do and try and carry on that tradition. So yeah,
That's cool. That's awesome.
So when did this all start, Michael, to get the lounge going, and how'd that kick off? What's kind of the origin there?
So the concert lounge. So there's a gentleman here. His name is Scott Gillespie, and he puts on. He's been in this building now for quite a while. I think almost 10 years now, and he was actually responsible for gutting the upstairs because it was carpeted, and it was a hodgepodge of decades. Just in decor was everywhere, and he went in there. He and the director, and they ripped out the carpet. They took out a lot of the seats. They resanded the floors. They painted the walls. I mean, they really did a lot of work to it. So Scott Gillespie, but he has what's called the Detroit, or is it Downriver or Detroit Student Film Consortium. So he works with kids that are maybe less fortunate, come from homes where maybe it's broken homes, or just, maybe in a bad situation, and he teaches them how to make movies. And so every Sunday, if you come here, there's usually about 40 kids going around, and they're filming like movies that they've written. And it's incredible. It's
That's
really incredible.
cool.
They've won so many awards. They just got back from Cincinnati. There was a Cincinnati Film Festival. They were there.
Dang.
But it's the work he does is just unbelievable. He was a police officer, and he did work in the schools for years with kids that were just kind of in a bad way. And he's like, you know what? I love movies. I love making movies. That's kind of his passion. He's like, I'm going to teach kids how to do this. And it's become just like an absolutely amazing thing. So through that, he started what was called Trifecta. And he would get 3 bands upstairs, and then he would sell tickets at the door, because a lot of the kids that he worked with were in bands and they didn't have any place to really play. So he would do that. Well, his film program kind of took precedence in his schedule, and so Trifecta kind of just fell off. Well, a lot of people, and like Mike Carey Music, that's local down here, they donated. They would donate equipment to him. They would donate lights. They would donate people would just come and donate stuff to him, just speakers, anything. I mean, it was like a hodgepodge of speakers when we got here, everywhere, amps, lights from every decade, as well. And he's like, it'd be really cool. He's like, it'd be really cool if you guys started doing concerts. And Brian and I, the co-founder of Be Well My Friends, the nonprofit that is kind of the producers of the Oddfellow Concert Lounge, Brian had always wanted to do something with music. He'd always wanted to do a festival of some kind or something with music. And so we had kind of thrown ideas out. But when Scott said, hey, you guys should do something with this, we're like, there might be something here. Now, of course, the logistics of it are always just, how do we get the people? How do we get the bands? How do we, we're completely green in like doing any of this. And so I reached out to friends that I knew were in the original music scene and just started kind of picking their brain, asking about, payment wise, what would be, I don't want to insult people, but like, how can we do this? How can we raise money? How can we, what can we do? And so we did a lot of research and then found out as a nonprofit, we can get 12 liquor licenses a year through the state, special liquor licenses. So
how long does one of those licenses, if you're saying 12, that makes me think they're temporary, right?
They are temporary. They're completely temporary. And I don't know, we only use them for 24 hours, but I think you can do them for like a weekend event.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Yeah.
But they're specific to just fundraising.
Yep. Gotcha.
Right? So they're just for 501c3s, and they're meant for fundraising.
Wow.
Okay. So we thought, well, there's something there because people like to drink, when they go out and listen to music. So
Mhm.
there's something there we could do. And we're like, well, how much are the licenses? Well, they're $25 a license. Well, that's nothing. We can make that work.
Wow.
That's nothing. So we, met with our board. We were like, here's what we want to do. I think we started out with 8 concerts the first year that we did it. And we just went through the process. And again, Scott Gillespie, who did the trifecta and had the hodgepodge of equipment, we went through all the equipment and tried to set up the best sound system that we could with what we had. Because again, we're a nonprofit. We don't have a lot of money, but we wanted to make this happen. And again, things coming into alignment in the process of doing that, of finding equipment and things like that. I went on like Facebook Marketplace and stuff and tried finding amplifiers and things like that. Well, there was this one guy that was nearby that had some subwoofer boxes that he was giving away for free. He was just getting rid of them. And I'm like, wow, this is perfect. Let me go get them. So I go to his house and he's like, well, I'm curious, what are you going to do with them? And I said, well, I went through the story. Well, we're going to do this concert lounge. And he's like, really? He's like, I'm a sound guy. I'm a live sound guy. I have a sound company. And I'm like, no kidding. And he goes, I would love to volunteer if, I'd love to check it out and help you out with this. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So he took me inside and showed me his studio. And I'm like, dude, this is amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm like, what are the chances? He's like, all right, well, let's set up a night so we can kind of get your sound system together. So I had my buddy Sean, who's the bass player for Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels.
Sweet.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So he has a band called the Skinnies. And they're like, some of them live in Lansing, some are here, and they practice if they get a gig. They've been together for years. Yeah. And so it's just kind of like secondhand for them and they can just run through it whenever. But I'm like, hey, do you guys want to come and do kind of like a live practice so we can dial in our sound system? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so we did it. We put together this hodgepodge of speakers. Ed, our sound guy, showed up and we got to hang out with him. And we had just like a whole night of just like trying to, for lack of a better term, turn dog poop into something beautiful because all the equipment was just a mishmash of just junk.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked for what we needed that first year. And sometimes things broke. And we'd have to fix them on the fly. But again, we work with Mike Carey Music, who was just a huge advocate for what we were doing. He's a local music store here. So if he would donate cables, he would donate equipment if we needed equipment, if we needed something on the fly. I think he donated the first couple crossovers that we needed for our sound system. So he's been just amazing with what we're doing. But yeah, that was our first year. It was just like, I think something's broken. Hurry up and go fix it. And then let's let the show go on. And so it's funny now, because we've had a couple bands that have come back. Now we're on our 3rd year and we've had back now 3 times. And they're like, man, every time we come in, it's like, you guys get better and better and better. I'm like, that's the goal.
Yeah.
We're trying to. So, but that's essentially how it started, was just kind of an idea, a spark, something that had already been there, but just needed somebody to come in that really wanted to do it and wanted to invest the time in it. And we're a nonprofit, and that's what we do. And we wanted to raise money. And we thought, what better way to raise money than to host local original music and have a bar set up where all the bar sales go to our financial assistance grant to help people in the Downriver community. And the bands that play absolutely love that. They feel really good. And in fact, the last show that we had, we raised money for the Wyandotte High School marching band's drum line. They needed new drums. So they were trying to raise $20,000. We were able to raise $2,000 of that just on one show.
Yes.
Wow. And like all 3 of the bands donated money that they had made at the door towards that. Oh. So it's infectious. Like you're like, I want to give back. I want to do something. And it's great. I love it. And we're getting more and more volunteers that just want to be involved. And so we're cooking, man. It's rolling every year. Things are going great. We're learning as we go. And it's awesome. We get to listen to live original music once a month and raise money for people. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's the organization? I mean, you guys, it's Be Well Friends, right?
Mhm.
Or is that
It's
only
Be
one of
Well,
the
My
things that?
Friends. So I was talking about a little bit about this before we went live, but so Be Well, My Friends is the namesake of a close personal friend of myself and Brian Webb, my co-founder. Her name was Kim Henderly, and she was a blogger back in the MySpace days, and she was really good at it. And there was a couple times where she was ranked in the top 5 nationally for her blogs. She was phenomenal.
Sweet.
But she unfortunately got ovarian cancer and she passed away. But she would end all of her blogs with "Be well, my friends." And so when Brian and I first, it was actually Brian who started wanting to do fundraising because his cousin did something fundraising for breast cancer. And he said, I want to get involved. And he had DJ'd an event for them. And he was like, I want to get involved. I want to do something along those lines and raise money for something. And we heard about the Yes Ma'am program at the Henry Ford Wyandotte Hospital, which they do free mammograms for uninsured and underinsured women downriver. So if you're uninsured, if you're watching, you're uninsured and you're underinsured and you're ignoring your health because you just don't have the funds, check out the Yes Ma'am program. They do completely free mammograms and other stuff too for people that are suffering with any types of cancer really now.
Cool.
But we started what was called the Wyandotte Zombie Pub Crawl. So he had went to a pub crawl they did in Detroit, and he said he was like, this is the lamest thing I've ever been to. I know I could do a better one. So he started out with 60 of his friends, and he made $1,200 the first year they did it. Well, then the next year rolls around, and he goes, and I was like, I want to get involved. I want to do something. Let's make it big. Let's make it huge. We started doing some research, and we found out there was a zombie crawl in Minneapolis that would have like 10,000 people on average. And we're like, what if we got it to that?
What?
Like, this would be amazing. And they had like national acts played. I think like Nelly played. So yeah, I mean, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Back when Nelly was relevant.
Right.
So we're like, yeah, let's do that. So the first year we really, did the advertising, did everything. We had like almost 400 people showed up to that.
Oh, dang.
Zombie crawl. It was awesome. And we donated like $15,000 to the Yes Man program. So then it just was like, all right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Let's get bigger. Let's get bigger.
Yeah. And we did that. We end this last Halloween was our last one. We ended it finally. We had to put an end to it, but it was 10 years. And we were able to raise $114,000 for the Yes Man program at the Henry Ford Hospital. So that was kind of the catalyst. That event was the catalyst for the Be Well, My Friends, because around what we were discovering is trying to get raffle prizes and things like that. Nobody would talk to us unless you're a 501c3. They're not just going to give a couple guys calling them up some money or give them donate things to them. They're like, nah, that's not going to happen. And so COVID hit, and we're like, well, what better time to just kind of take a break and kind of like reassess where we're at and apply for our charity. And we did. And I'm sure we made the process a lot harder than it needed to be, but we didn't know what we were doing. And it was COVID and nobody could really talk to anybody. So we just were like going through YouTube videos, trying to figure out the best way to do it. And finally, somebody close to us was like, "Oh, I can help you out. We'll get it done for you." And so they helped us through the process. We got it, and then from there, it just blossomed into different events, different fundraising events, and then eventually, our Oddfellow Concert Lounge is just kind of the staple for us right now. We still are trying to come up with other events and help other charities with their events. But for us, the mainstay right now is the Oddfellow Concert Lounge. That's kind of been our thing. It's the way that we're getting the message out and marketing Be Well, My Friends, to let people know about our financial assistance grant. So it's a one-time grant. So if somebody is in the or below what's called the ALICE threshold guideline, so I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that or not, but it's essentially the level of money, the least level of money that somebody needs to survive in the state of Michigan. And it's not a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's like right around $21,000 to $27,000, something like that per year.
Right. Wow.
And then I think a family of 4 is not even much higher than that. So I think like family of 4, I think is like $32,000 a year. And so there isn't really many safety nets for people that are at that range, because with, Medicaid or Medicare assistance, you have to be at a certain dollar amount to qualify for those type of programs. And so we're like, hey, there's a lot of people out there that maybe just need their rent paid. Maybe they just need a reprieve from, trying to catch up on bills or something. Maybe that's where we can come in and we can step in and help them out with that. And so that's what we've done. We've paid bills. We paid DTE bills. We've paid Wyandotte bills. We helped buy somebody a new car. We've put a new transmission in somebody's car. We've bought a lot of groceries. We've bought foster kids a lot of Christmas presents. And that's just that's the mission of, when you come to the concert lounge and you come and enjoy your night, because that's what we want you to do. We really want you to enjoy coming to see original local music, because I don't think it's not like it used to be, where the scene was a lot bigger. And so we wanted a place for original musicians to present their artwork to Metro Detroit. And then at the same time, put a bug in people's ear, like, hey, there's people out there right now that are in this community that are really hurting. That's what we do. We help musicians and we help people in our community just to make a better life for them and make it a better place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So back to the concert lounge and the music, you talked about original music. What's some of the bands that maybe have come through the doors, but probably more importantly, what's coming up this year and people catch?
Yeah. So some bands we recycled a little bit, only because we had just a really great response from people. And so obviously we wanted to bring those bands back in again. So we did that really in our second year. We trimmed it down to only 5 shows and really focused on the bands that were really bringing in a lot of people. And then we realized just more and more bands were wanting to play. So we're like, all right, let's expand this. Let's do, 12 shows once every month. Let's make that commitment. Again, we stopped doing the zombie crawl, so that kind of freed up a lot of mental space too, of like, oh, we don't have to worry about that going on in the fall. So this year we did 12. So we brought in, I don't know, do you know Passengers Recovery?
No.
So
Nope.
Passengers, that might be a really great organization for you guys to interview. So Chris Tate, who is the bass player for the Electric Six. So he has a group that he started, a nonprofit called Passengers Recovery. He originally started it as kind of a sober group for roadies, for national acts, so that they could have kind of a place and an organization to go to. So, and then it kind of like morphed into kind of like a sobriety community for musicians. And so that's kind of where it's at. But they're out of Hamtramck. He does just amazing work. But I wrote to him, I'm like, Chris, I need help. Would the Electric Six maybe be interested? And he's like, well, you'd have to get with our management, but I know it would be a lot of money. I'm like, I get it. He's like, I was like, can you give me anybody that you think would be really great? And he's like, yeah, check out Jennifer Westwood and the Handsome Devils. And I'm like, that name's been thrown out a ton of times. So I reached out to Jennifer and introduced myself, and we just kind of struck up a friendship. And now she's one of my very good friends, but she opened this year for us. And that was a really great show. We unfortunately, it was supposed to be a 4-band, but we try and do 4 bands per bill. But one of the bands, I think, got COVID, and I can't even remember who the 4th band was. It's been like 6 months ago, but that show was Jennifer Westwood, the Handsome Devils, the Codgers, which is portions of the band Livernois. And they're really great. And then another one of my favorite bands, Midnight Proof. Those guys are absolutely amazing. So that was a really fun show. They kicked off the year actually in February. We started in February. We took a break in January, and then we did another show in March with True Devil. Have you guys heard of True Devil?
Yep.
Yep. Unreal. Those guys are just unbelievable. If you get a chance to see them locally, go see True Devil. It is, I don't know why they're not signed. they could be on a national stage. They're absolutely freaking amazing. They
Love it.
put on one heck of a show.
I'll look them up.
And they sound really good at the Oddfellow Concert Lounge. I'm just going to say that. They sound
Sweet.
absolutely amazing at the Oddfellow Concert Lounge. But we had those guys. We had Half-Life, which is absolutely great. If you're a big Rob Zombie fan, you'd love Half-Life. They're awesome. The Creeping Chaos are great. If you like just traditional thrash metal, they're awesome. And they've got the dad of the lead singer, who is such a great guy, because he was like, yeah, most kids, play basketball, they do this, they do that, and they follow him around for sports. My kid's the lead singer in a metal band, so I just support him. I've been supporting him. I go to all the shows. He's lugging around their merch and setting up their merch table and everything.
Good dad.
It was awesome. And he had, they had a creeping chaos character, and it was his dad would dress up.
That's awesome.
Come out on stage in this character. It was
some Guar stuff.
It was great. Yeah. It was so great. And then Forge the Sun, of course, they've got a lead singer who's just will knock your socks off. And then we had in April, we did kind of an indie show. That was the show that we did. In April was the one actually to raise money for the drum line, to raise money for the drums, and that was the bands had all donated. But the New Old, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the New Old. They
I just recently started listening to them.
Awesome, yeah, they're great.
Yep,
really great sound, and just the nicest people. Really, just absolutely, just so sweet, so nice. The Remnants, they're from Flat Rock. They're really great. Channel 89, they're actually from Wyandotte, so they had a huge turnout at the show. And then Slowfoot, if you haven't heard Slowfoot.
Yeah, we know Slowfoot.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Absolutely love. And their lead singer, actually, I think he works for a nonprofit, and he does a lot of work for a nonprofit. So he actually helped us out when we were trying to find an accountant. He's like, he wrote down a bunch of names. He's like, check these guys out. These are guys that we work with. So he was, just another thing where you work with local people, do other things outside of music, and you just that networking, and it just worked out. We just recently had a kind of a ska funk soul show in May. That was on the 17th. That was headlined by Killer Diller. It was amazing. Those guys are phenomenal. We've got that. If you go to the Oddfellow Concert Lounge on Facebook, we streamed it live. So we have their whole set still up on our website. You can go there and listen to it. It's pretty, not to throw a pun out there, it's pretty killer.
Sweet.
Then we had Brothers from Another Planet. They've been in the scene for forever, but they are phenomenal. And then Jive Colossus played. They were great. They're out of Ann Arbor. They kind of have this Grateful Dead-esque world music. Almost, I don't know, at one point it was almost like Latin fusion. That it was great. They were really, really great. But our next show that's coming up is June 28th. At the end of next month, and that is going to be a progressive rock show. I will say this: there is not a lot of progressive rock bands out there, and so we're still looking for one more. So if you're watching, get in touch with us. Get in touch with me. We're trying to find a progressive rock band, but it's going to be Belling the Tiger, Cat Lung, and Serrano Jones so far. So again, we're looking for that one more progressive rock band or something within that vein that could come out and play that show. And then July, we've got a kind of a more of a blues driven show. So that one's going to be headlined by Chris Canis. And then we've got Carl.
We know Chris.
What's that?
We know Chris. Yeah.
Awesome.
We like Chris.
So he's going to headline Carl Babbalero and the Wreckage. Secondhand Mojo, they're out of, I believe, Canton, and then the Chronic Blues Band. So that's going to be a pretty killer blues show. So I'm excited about that one. And then for the rest of the year, I'm still working on the lineup, except for November. We do have November already lined up.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so our November show is going to be a folk rock show, but that's going to be Livernois, Lori and the Darlings, Silver Creek Revival, and Haskins. So Haskins will be back again.
Sweet. That's
we
cool
might
stuff.
have to go see that one.
You're gonna have.
We know
to.
3 of those bands.
You know what you should do is you should do a podcast from the venue.
There we go.
When we come visit for a show, we will be asking you if we can do that.
You will do that. It's not a matter of asking me. It's
awesome.
You will be.
We're in. That November,
sure.
that sounds like a pretty sweet
awesome.
one.
Yeah, like if you.
I have not been able to see Haskins live yet. Even the time we were there when we interviewed them, I had to miss them playing, and I'm like, I need to see them. So I haven't seen them yet.
They're really, the harmonies are great. The songwriting is really, really good.
Yeah, those cool guys.
Ken's a great songwriter, but they do a really good job. Those guys are awesome. Absolutely love
cool.
Haskins.
So for the other shows that are still getting built out, and even if people aren't paying attention close enough to name all the names, go out to your website, right?
Yep. So there's 2 spots you can go to. You can either go to our Facebook page. The other spot is to bewellmyfriends.org. And so in the little hamburger menu, the 3 lines up at the top, you click on that, drop down, and then just click on Oddfellow Concert Lounge, and it'll have all the information on there, where we're located, the any upcoming shows that we have advertised. And then you can always contact me too. I mean, if you're interested and you want to know what's going on, I'm on Facebook, Michael Balcom. If you go to Be Well My Friends, you can Be Well My Friends on Facebook. You can go there and message that as well. And please, if you're on Facebook, like and follow Be Well My Friends and everything that we're doing, especially if you want to volunteer. Everything that we do at the Oddfellow Concert Lounge is 100% volunteer effort. So, we get there the day of, and we've got a crew, and we got to set up the bar, we got to set up the tables. Thank God we finally have a sound system that's more permanent, so we don't have to worry about setting that up all the time. But we always can use help. And even if there's not a lot to do during the show, you can sit, listen to music, have some cocktails if you're a drinker, and then just, make sure you're sober enough to help us put the chairs back up against the wall and sweep the floors. That's right. Really all that we ask. But come help, come be a part of it.
Well, thanks, Michael. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You
guys are doing a lot of good work. And giving the community a lot of good music to listen to at the same time.
Heck yeah, man. So I'm excited. We definitely got to get you guys in to do a podcast at one of the shows.
We would love to. We would love to.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
If you like this episode, check out all of our episodes on your favorite streaming platform,
or even our website, themittenmusic.com.
or if you want short clips of our episodes, check out our socials.
We got Facebook,
We have Instagram,
we got TikTok,
and YouTube.
we're all over the social media game.
Make sure to check out some live Michigan music or listen on your favorite streaming platform.